Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James apparently have had a long-standing beef. You know, they've been digging at each other for a long time. And for those of
Some say
you,
it's more one sided.
some say that, but everything that I've read or heard for the most part has said that there's been a beef between the two for quite a while.
Yeah.
It didn't just start in 2025.
No.
The difference between then and now is that LeBron's son, Bronny, plays for the NBA now,
Mhm.
at his father's request. That's a conversation for another day.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally, and I don't ever say that.
And listen, we are well documented at saying that we believe in nepotism.
Yep.
So I don't have anything bad to say about the fact that LeBron wanted his son in the league. Now, do I think that in basketball skill matters? Skill level matters when you're playing professional ball? Absolutely. And do I think that you could end up setting yourself for failure if you get pushed to the front of the line for something you may not be ready for? Absolutely. But do I think LeBron is a bad dad? No. Do I think that Bronny shouldn't have taken advantage of an opportunity that was made available to him? No. Um. Anyway, so this morning, Stephen A. had some words for LeBron.
A,
Um,
a lot
since
of things.
since the beginning of March, things have heightened because LeBron confronted Stephen A. at a game. We later found out, and they both agree that this is what happened. That LeBron approached Stephen A. because he feels like he goes too hard at Bronny, and he doesn't stick to speaking about Bronny as a player. He feels like he goes outside of that and makes it personal.
Which, for context,
Mm-hmm.
it seems that the straw that broke the camel's back
Mm-hmm.
was when Smith said, "I'm asking you as a father,"
Mm-hmm.
and begun to speak about, you know, fatherhood,
Mm-hmm.
not stats, rebounds, points, skills. It
Yeah.
became a dad son fatherhood conversation. It seems that that was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is where we start the LeBron confrontation.
Right.
Or rather, that's
So,
what caused, I should say. That's what
mhm.
seems to have caused the LeBron confrontation.
Yes. So fast forward to yesterday.
Mhm.
LeBron James was on the Pat McAfee show. I have no idea who Pat McAfee is, but I'm sure he's lovely. He was on the show and he's quoted saying, um, Stephen A. was on a Taylor Swift tour run after after the confrontation between him and Stephen A. And he says he completely missed the whole point. The whole point. Never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport and criticize players about what they do. That is your job to criticize or to be in a position where if a guy's not performing, that's all part of the game. But when you take it and get personal with it, it's not my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players. Well, Stephen A. saw this. And Stephen A. said, okay, well, first take. I've got some things to say.
Yep.
And he says, and I quote, I just want to say for the record, LeBron James is full of it. And in this particular instance, as it pertains to his son, he is a liar. He continues to lie to the world about what I said and who I was pointing the figure at. To regurgitate an obvious point, when I talked about Bronny James early in the season and I highlighted the fact that at that particular moment in time he simply was not ready, I was calling out LeBron James. I suggest that he be happy with the things that I haven't brought up. I never brought up really and never really discussed why you were not at Oh, I want. Can we play this clip?
If you know exactly which clip it is, sure.
Yeah,
It's a lot of clips.
yeah, we have it. I feel like we should play it.
Go for it.
Let Stephen A. speak for himself.
Let Stephen A. speak for himself. That should be the name of this episode. While you're searching,
Yeah.
Pat McAfee, uh, Patrick Justin McAfee,
Uh huh.
is a former NFL punter and current sports media personality.
Okay.
He's he was drafted by the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay.
Widely considered one of the best punters in the league, he was a two-time Pro Bowler and first-time All-Pro during his career. In addition, to his role at ESPN, McAfee is a small business owner, entrepreneur, and stand-up comedian.
Okay. Thank you for that.
No problem, Bob.
I was thinking McAfee like the antivirus. So
With the things that I haven't brought up. I never brought up really and never really discussed why you were not at Kobe Bryant's memorial service. I never really brought up or discussed why you did not attend Dwayne Wade's Hall of Fame induction. Remember, people were blowing up my phone since the first segment of the show when I talked about him at the memorial service, okay? I didn't mean to say he wasn't in the building. I was told he was in the building. Listen, but we saw a whole bunch of players out there. We didn't see him.
that was nasty work as far as I'm concerned. We're bringing up Kobe's memorial service is nasty work, and you don't have to. I don't know what the details are, and without knowing any of the details, you don't go to a memorial service to be seen. That's not what that is. You you just that's not why that's there. That's not why that's happening. So if I don't know what point he's trying to make, and maybe this is none of my business,
I don't think it's any of our business.
but I just feel like this is nasty. Like you could have left Kobe's memorial service out of it, and that's why people are blowing up your phone. Because why would you even go there? Why would that be? You want to talk about Dwayne Wade and his
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame induction? That's fine, whatever. But first of all, stop dropping other names into it. Just you want to have a feud with somebody, feud with them. But the moment you start dropping other people's names, especially people who are no longer with us, it gets weird. And it's like, but why don't you just not? Why don't you just not? Go ahead. I know you. You keep looking like you're about to say something and then you stop. Sorry.
I just didn't want to cut you off.
It's weird.
Um, let's
Very
let's
weird.
start with the memorial.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, no, you don't go to a memorial to be seen. In this instance, you do.
Oh, okay.
In the instance of the passing of a legend,
Uh huh.
to be seen at the service means something.
Okay.
Whether that's Nipsey Hussle, or Gotti, or Kobe, right? Just examples, random examples, not saying they're tied together.
To
At
be
those
seen or to
services,
attend?
okay, so these things are televised, and they are. I mean, I don't think Irv Gotti's was, but these things are televised,
There was video.
and they are promoted to an extent, right? And so, who's who, the who's who is of the NBA was there and was seen and was expressing their emotions, whether verbally or just on, being there. If today LeBron passed away, you would expect people to be there and show face. That's just how it works in that scenario. Now, if I pass today, no, they're not expecting anything like that. It's a little different. So yes, you are. You are. Being seen does matter in that instance. Is
I,
it required? No, but does it make a difference? Yes.
I guess I'm confused because I get I get what you're saying, but I also feel like isn't there it's one thing to attend, but it's not it's not about you. So maybe
Which is why you're expected to be there and be seen because you're paying
but
homage to
okay,
another NBA legend.
I think where I think where I'm getting mixed up here is are we saying that he was there and people just didn't see him like he wasn't mixing and mingling with everybody, or are we saying that he did not attend? Because I'm
I'm not
saying
saying anything. I'm only responding to your statement. I didn't even get to LeBron and Stephen A yet. I'm only responding to your memorial statement.
because
In
you're
in a,
saying that
in a
people should
situation
be
where there's
there
an NBA legend who passed away, NBA people got to show up and be seen. That's what happens. Kobe passed. Jordan and Shaq are on the are on the podium, bawling, crying. People are in the audience there. All the top dogs of the league, past, present, are there.
so LeBron
You
wasn't in
supposed
the
to be there.
audience. That's where I'm confused. Was is it that LeBron because I'm not saying he shouldn't have attended the funeral. I'm saying I don't understand if he did attend the funeral, why was it important for him to be like up in the mix? Isn't it okay for him to be in the audience and just taking what's happening?
You and me are saying two different things. You said people don't go to memorials to be seen. I'm only responding to that. I'm not saying LeBron or not LeBron. I'm just saying when this type of thing happens, you got to go and show up. Yes, you are expected to be seen. Yes. Now, I'm not saying LeBron or not LeBron. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. I'm speaking about if today, right this moment, Shaq passes away, LeBron is expected to be there. All the NBA top dogs are expected to be at the memorial. That's just how it works.
I agree
So
with that. Like I agree that is how it would work. But that's why I'm saying I think that I think for me at least there's a disconnect between a person being in attendance versus cuz he went from saying and I'm trying to bring it back to the actual story.
sure,
He he went from saying that LeBron wasn't in attendance. That's the way I understood what he said.
that's what he's
Then he
first said.
turned
Yeah.
around and said, "Well, you weren't you he was there, but he wasn't there."
He
And
said, "I
I'm
heard you were in the building." He's saying that LeBron was allegedly there, but nobody saw him. So that's what he's saying.
got it. Okay.
Um, I don't remember whether he was on camera or not. Um, but yeah, you would be expected to be on camera. What Stephen A is saying is, ain't nobody see you on camera. He corrected himself. He made a mistake. He shouldn't have said that. I agree. What what Stephen A is doing is trying to point out the questionable things in LeBron James' character, the same way LeBron is trying to do that about Stephen A. Smith. I think the problem is that these two guys are titans within their own right. Stephen A has been ESPN for years. It's why he can command the salary he commands. It's why he continues to be number one in that field. And the same is true of LeBron. LeBron is a titan who has continued to put up numbers for years and years, to do great things for years and years. That's why he can do things like bring his son into the league, no matter how people feel about it. The issue is these two titans play in different arenas. One is a titan of the sport of basketball. One is a titan of color commentary. or sports commentary, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
The problem is these guys are now playing the same game very different ways.
Mm-hmm.
They have a beef. Their beef is public. It shouldn't be. That's my opinion. The next thing is both of these gentlemen are using different platforms to display their message. Some say
Mm-hmm.
LeBron has not said much
Mm-hmm.
until now.
Okay.
He's at a disadvantage because Stephen A can get on camera whenever he likes. He's got the ESPN show. He's also got a podcast. LeBron doesn't have those things.
Right.
So it seems very easily one-sided.
You don't think he should have went on Savannah's? You don't think
Huh?
he should have went on Savannah's podcast
LeBron?
and be like, "Babe, let me grab the mic."
No, no. I mean, unless he wanted her to get record-breaking numbers, because that's what would have happened. But it's a weird situation, right? You got a guy who is a titan of the basketball
Mm-hmm.
world and a guy who's a titan of the TV world. And these two guys are beefing.
Mm-hmm.
What we don't need is public beefs like this. What we don't need is two titans calling each other's character into question publicly. And what we don't need is two black men who are legends going back and forth publicly. I think all of this is nasty. I think all of this should stop. I don't think we should continue to see these two titans battling publicly, because this is not a rap battle. This is very, very different. Okay? A rap battle is part of the competitive part of hip hop. It's something people agree to enter and something we all sit and have our popcorn and enjoy. And it's supposed to be that after that, it's over. This is not that.
Yeah.
And there are people involved, there are companies involved, there are families involved at this point.
Mm-hmm.
This man has a humongous platform on ESPN, and yeah, anywhere LeBron James goes and puts on, and a mic is cut on, it's going to get a lot of attention. I
Yeah.
think this should stop. I think this is all nasty. I think, yes, it is okay to criticize, critique, and speak on sports.
Agree.
The same way we do a podcast speaking about the things that happen in the entertainment industry,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay to do that. That's a job, that's a career for a reason.
Yeah.
I think when you call into question someone's fatherhood, it gets a little weird. I
Agree.
think it gets a little challenging. And so I'm not going to sit here and say I've never done it. We just spoke about Neo and having his kids around these polyamorous women he's dating.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite and say you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying you have to be careful when you do it, because it can get murky very quickly. And I would say it's not something you want to keep doing over and over again. And he hasn't really said much about the fatherhood thing since. But my point is, if that's the straw that broke the camel's back, perhaps take a pause and just
Yeah.
look at what you did, because he's saying I didn't say anything else about LeBron, about Ronnie. I was talking about you. Yeah, but you spoke about how the man is a parent, and that's where it gets
Yeah.
challenging. But I'm not saying I agree with what Stephen A. said or disagree. I'm just saying that topic is where it gets a little different. Now I'm not going to say LeBron is innocent, because LeBron, you pulled a move that no one has ever done in history of sports.
Yeah.
You have to understand that this is going to be criticized, and you have been criticized. The problem is you were also criticized by a dude you don't really like, right?
Well, yeah. That
If you
that
tell
that
me,
certainly heightens things.
of course, if you tell me, yo, Jay, man, you look like you need a haircut and a shave, I've been all right, co-host, friend, I got you. If my ops says, hey, yo, look at this bum ass nigga on the podcast, he don't never get a haircut or a shave, he just show up looking like garbage. And you see, now we got problems. Now I don't like it. It's heightened, exactly. So did you do that because you saw a Trey Songz stance?
No.
All right, we talked about it offline. Anyway,
Okay.
uh,
I did that just
so
because it's like, well, let's fight.
A fan ran up on stage, and it was a guy seeming like he was going to lunge at Trey Songz, I believe it was, and the internet is making fun of Trey Songz fighting stance. So I thought that's why you did that.
Oh, is it
Anyway,
bad
back to
like his?
uh
Is my stance bad like his?
I didn't see his stance. I just know the topic.
Oh, okay.
I
Because
didn't
I
watch
was
the
like,
video,
oh,
but I thought that's why you did it. Anyway, back
my
to
stance is good.
Stephen A. and LeBron.
Hmm.
Yeah, when someone you don't like, when someone who's your enemy, when someone you got beef with, tension with, criticizes you, it's heightened, and I understand that. Um, I just think both of these things are bad. I think the
Hmm.
criticism of sport should be the criticism of sport.
Yeah.
The same way we come up here and speak about the entertainment industry, yeah, I'll talk about someone's movie. I'll
Yeah.
talk about someone's album, but it's a very rare occasion that I'm going to talk about someone's relationship or their parenting or their kids. And I think that's where it gets challenging. I
Right.
think this needs to be put to bed. I don't think we should continue to highlight these things. And I don't think that these two men should continue to do this publicly. If you got a private beef, let it be private. Both of them have done things that I think crosses the line, and I think we should just stop.
I agree. I mean, and I guess, it's entertainment at the end of the day, right? People are probably enjoying watching this back and forth between the two of them. I certainly think that Stephen A is, um, like you said, a titan in the media space in his own right. And so Stephen A is very clear on the energy he brings when he's on camera, as well as the fact that he is effective and impactful, and people will talk about whatever he says. He's aware of that. I mean, that's part of what makes him so smart, and part of what makes him so marketable, and part of what has made him so successful. So he's not. I mean, I see a world where I'm not saying it's all this way, but I see a world where he goes home very pleased with himself at the end of the day for having shaken the table a little bit today.
So,
Like, and I don't, I'm not saying that, he doesn't have any negative feelings about it or that he's just a troll or anything like that. But I'm saying, the game is the game. And he knows that. He's been on television for however many years. He absolutely knows what to do to get the rise, what to say, how to keep the ratings high. He knows all of that. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a thing. But that's it. That's all I got. And I wish them well on their future endeavors, truly.
yeah, I just would like to stop this. If I could tell them both to stop, I would. I mean, I guess I did, but I don't know them personally. But I feel like this got to stop being a public thing.
It's just it's just a little weird. I mean, maybe it's not weird for people who have kept up with it from the beginning, but for me, it's just a little weird because it's like, all right, so this is really not like this is bubbling up to this point where they talking about fighting each other and Stephen A. talking about he gonna beat him. I see Van Lathan posted. I think it was yesterday. He posted. Now, if we do the math, like if we just look at the mathematics of this, there is no way Stephen A. could beat up LeBron James. No way he's winning. But anyway, I just thought that was funny. Um, but yeah, we don't want things to get physical, and
Yeah,
there's already been a face-to-face confrontation. So, no.
yeah.